Hi there, I'm Mark, and I'm here today to talk about the latest release of the GSE Platform. I'm delighted to have with me in the studio today Nathan Allen, our Director of Engineering, who's going to tell us much more about the features that we've been having. How are you today, Nathan?
Yeah, very good, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant, fantastic. So, this release, we've got a few really quite exciting new things that have happened, haven't we? So maybe let's start with the change we've made to our group dashboards.
Yeah, so one of the nice features of the GSE is to be able to share signals within a group experience, and we want to try and improve that with this release. So what we've done is we've improved the top bar of the widgets that you can see as soon as you enter that particular group. What we want to do is make it more clear where the group is performing well, and there are certain indicators and metrics that we measure that will give you an indication as to how well that group is performing. So one metric in particular is the GSE index, and we've now made this particular widget more clear to help you understand whether the GSE index is good or bad, and to help you kind of understand that. And the way that that you can affect the performance of the GSE index is through feedback. And so we also have widgets that show the amount of feedback that has been provided within the group for the signals. But there's also additional metrics along the top of the group that indicate how well it's performing based on if there are cost factors at a signal level, and also the uplift and overlap. And that relates to those signals that are unique to the group, that are new signals that no one has seen before, and those that are overlap, ones that may have been seen before that have, effectively kind of duplicates within the group scenario. So the widgets is a big kind of change in this release.
Brilliant. And I think a real focus on impact this time around, isn't it? And actually really pulling out those key things that matter and trying to measure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about measuring and trying to show, how is this group, measuring against other groups? How is the impact? What difference are these signals making to scams and fraud within that particular group environment?
That's brilliant. I think we've also made a few changes to some of the other aspects of the group dashboard, like I think the individual source level now has more data, doesn't it?
Correct.
As well.
Yeah. So what we've tried to do is we've tried to make the sources that form the group a lot more informative. So you can see exactly who owns that particular source. If you have any questions relating to the signals for that source, we show you for that particular source what is the average GSE index, what are the net new, so those signals that are new to the group specifically, and also feedback items that relate to that particular source as well.
So basically, you know who to chase if there's problems with a given source.
If you have any questions, it should be a lot clearer now as to who owns that particular source.
Brilliant. I think finally on the group side of things, we've also made some improvements, I believe, to the sort of recent activity view at the bottom.
That's right.
To give more detail on the signals.
We have, yeah. So previously, there was just a pretty plain view of the signals that are contained within the group. What we do now for each of those signals is we provide a lot more metrics and a lot more background as to what's happening. So we show you enrichment data for that particular signal if that exists. So for a DNS signal, a domain name or URL, we'll show you the TLD, we'll show you the registrar, registrant if we have that available. Again, we also show you whether that particular signal is new to the group. We show you where the feedback's been provided, and we also now have a nice drill down. So at the end of the row, you'll see a view details link. If you click on that link, it will pop up a new dashboard which shows you all of the different metrics and all of the data that we have for that particular signal. And that will include all of the feedback items, all of the enrichment items, and all of the signal details that we have for that particular signal.
So a lot more view of all the enrichment data we're gathering, and everything we've got for signals now in one place.
Absolutely, yeah.
Amazing. That's really good. So moving on to another key feature for us, one of the things we've been building out as a GSE is support for people to access our platform in ways that work for them. And one way of doing that is to support what we call single sign-on methods. So since the word go, we've had ability to sign into our platform using Google, and that's been really effective. Many people use Google as their sort of workspace of choice organisationally, but increasingly we're finding that people need other methods as well. And last month we successfully rolled out OpenID.
Yep.
And this month we've released a new protocol called SAML, which many people may be aware of who's watching this today. So tell us a bit more about the SAML integration, Nathan. How easy is it to configure SAML within the platform?
Yeah, so both single sign-on options, whether it's OpenID or SAML, can be accessed through the account settings menu item. That's down right at the bottom of the menu on the left-hand side of the platform. When you go in there, you'll see an option for single sign-on configuration. Click on that, and you'll then be presented with two tabs, OpenID and SAML. And you'll see that the SAML tab has all of the fields that we require in order to establish the connection with your SAML provider. So it should be as easy as entering your unique credentials for that particular protocol.
Brilliant. So hopefully this will make a big difference to people that require access to our platform using, protocols. And this we're finding is important in different sectors of people using the platform. So hopefully this will be a big improvement. The final thing I wanted to ask you about, particularly Nathan, was the change we've made to our query signals functionality, because it seems like we've expanded that quite a lot in this release as well.
We have, yeah. And previously the query signals would just take you to a nice editor for you to be able to play with some of the signals, but it was locked down to I think it was the last signals in the last 24 hours. What we've done now is we've provided you with a comprehensive menu of different signal sets that you have access to. So that includes the signals from the last 24 hours, but it also includes those from the last 30 days. It also allows you to query signals for a particular group. It also allows you to query signals for a particular source. So if you just want to focus in the GUI on the platform and look at signals from a particular source, you can access that via the query signals page now.
Brilliant. I think they pretty much shadow the APIs we have, don't they? Which is great, which means that you can, if you want to sort of do CSV exports of the kind of API type feeds we've had in a more sort of interactive way if you wish.
Yeah,
hopefully it'll make a big difference to our users. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Another thing that we've done this release that's I think really important is the launch of a new league table. So many of you will be aware of the existing league tables that have been available on the platform, specifically for domain TLDs and registrars. We're now shifting gear a bit and moving into the market of looking at the IP address space, and have launched our first cut for private use by GSE users only of what we're terming the ASN League Table. That's calling out the autonomous system providers, who are those providers who are delegated IP blocks from the regional internet registries, the people that have large blocks of IP addresses. And we're measuring, in the same way as we have done for TLDs and registrars, we're measuring the number of reports we're seeing per sort of autonomous system, and looking at the ratio of that compared to the number of IP addresses that they manage overall, giving a sort of ratio, and therefore presenting a league table in very much the same way as we have done for domains. We're hoping this will start to produce a good sort of starting point for this, and we're really looking for user feedback from our existing user base on our first cut. So please do take a look at the new ASN league table that's coming out as part of this release, and do give feedback if you'd like. Finally, before we wrap up for today, I'd like to just talk a bit more about what's coming up, Nathan. What's exciting on our roadmap for the next few releases?
Yeah, so I think one of the most exciting things is our new product called GSE Compass AI, which is effectively a way for users to be able to interactively chat to and receive responses about the signals that we have within the platform. This is currently in beta testing internally within the organization, so we're doing a lot of tests to make sure that we get the right results and that everything's working smoothly for our users when we do roll it out, hopefully very soon. But yeah, it's a nice AI companion chatbot that you can talk to and ask questions of the signals and receive those signals back, and those relating to those queries that you have.
Yeah, I think it's really important to say that the first phase of our development of the GSE has been focused a lot on automation, and we've had a lot of work put into APIs, put into sort of access of data at scale, and this is now a new phase for us of starting to produce tools that I think are more investigative, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely.
And a lot of us, people we work with, especially those maybe involved in things like law enforcement or government, are more interested in looking at trends and patterns, and in some ways defining their own queries and be able to actually use natural language where possible to ask questions of our data. So I think this is going to be immensely exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hope that people will be able to use it for those investigative purposes, where they can try and find correlations between signals, whether it's through registrars or ASNs or whatever it is. We hope that we can provide that tool for them. So
brilliant. Thank you all for watching. That's been the summary of our latest release for the GSE platform.